I'm sitting in the weekly staff meeting, gripping my presentation folder so tight my knuckles turn white. Around the long conference table, 12 faces stare at me, some curious, some bored, one smirking. That smirk belongs to Daniel Pierce, my boss. I've just finished pitching my idea for a social media campaign targeting younger audiences. It's bold, fresh, different from anything our marketing firm has done before. I spent 3 weeks perfecting it, running numbers, building mock-ups. My heart pounds as I wait for feedback. Daniel leans back in his chair, arms crossed. "That's cute, Emily," he says slowly. The room shifts uncomfortably. "But let's be real. Stick to scheduling meetings and answering emails. Leave the real work to people who actually matter." Laughter ripples through the room. Nervous at first, then bolder. My cheeks burn like someone lit a match against my skin. I force myself to keep breathing, to stay standing, to not let them see how badly his words cut. Daniel grins wider. "Some people just aren't built for dreams, Carter. Better to know that now." I sit down quietly, my hands shaking in my lap. But inside something hardens. A promise forms in my chest, silent and fierce. Never again. I wasn't always this quiet. Growing up in a small town in Indiana, I was the girl with big plans. I worked 2 jobs through college, saved every penny, and moved to Chicago with nothing but a second-hand suitcase and a degree in marketing. I believed hard work mattered more than connections or charm. When I landed the assistant job at Pierce & Associates 3 years ago, I thought I'd found my break. Daniel Pierce himself interviewed me. He wore an expensive suit and smiled like he genuinely cared. "You're hungry," he said. "I like that. We need people who want to build something." Back then he seemed encouraging. He'd stop by my desk, ask about my weekend, praise my attention to detail. "You're brilliant, Emily," he told me once. I believed him. But things shifted 6 months ago. I created a campaign concept during my lunch breaks. Nothing official, just ideas I sketched out. I showed Daniel, hoping for feedback. He loved it. Called it genius. 2 weeks later, he presented it to the client. My concept, his name. He got a $5,000 bonus and a promotion. I got a thank you email. That's when I realized. Daniel never saw me as brilliant. He saw me as useful. My best friend Lena notices the change in me immediately. We meet for coffee on a rainy Saturday morning, and I tell her everything. The stolen campaign, the meeting humiliation, the constant reminders that I'm just an assistant. Lena stirs her latte, her jaw tight. "Em, you can't keep doing this. You can't outshine a man who lives for applause. He'll crush you every time." I laugh, but it sounds hollow. "What am I supposed to do? Quit? I need this job." "You need respect more," she says firmly. I want to argue, but deep down I know she's right. Still, bills don't pay themselves. So I swallow my pride and keep showing up. A month later, Daniel wins another award. This time for a client retention strategy one developed. The company throws a celebration dinner at an upscale restaurant downtown. I'm invited because I planned the entire event, down to the seating chart and menu. I sit at the far end of the table, watching everyone toast Daniel's brilliance. He stands, gives a speech about hard work and dedication, never once mentioning my name. I clap along with everyone else, my smile frozen in place. Inside I'm screaming. It's 9 p.m. on a Thursday, and I'm alone in the office. Again. Daniel sent me a frantic email this afternoon. A client report is due tomorrow morning, and he forgot to finish it. Translation, he never started it. I pull up the files, fixing his mistakes, filling in missing data, rewriting sentences that make no sense. My eyes burn from staring at the screen. My coffee has gone cold. The elevator dings. Daniel walks out, designer coat over his arm, clearly coming from dinner. He spots me and stops. "Still here, Carter." He sounds amused. "Just finishing the Reynolds report," I say quietly. He walks over, glancing at my screen. "You really think this job is your big break?" His voice is soft but cruel. "People like you burn out before they ever rise. It's just how it works." My hand trembles on the mouse. I want to scream at him, to throw my coffee in his smug face. Instead, I close my eyes and breathe. I'm almost done, I whisper. He leaves without another word. That night I don't cry. Instead, I save everything. Every file, every email, every piece of work I've done onto a flash drive. Not for revenge. Just evidence. If he won't see my worth here, someone else will. The LinkedIn message arrives on a Tuesday morning. I almost delete it, thinking it's spam. But the name catches my eye. Sarah Mitchell, HR manager at Morgan & Wills. Hi Emily, I came across your work online and was impressed by your portfolio. Would you be open to a confidential conversation about opportunities at our firm? My heart jumps. Morgan & Wills is smaller than Pearson Associates, but they're rising fast. Known for creativity and treating employees like humans, not tools. I read the message 3 times, then reply. I'd love to talk. We schedule a call for Friday evening after work hours. During the conversation, Sarah is warm and direct. We've seen your campaign concepts. They're innovative. We're looking for someone who can lead, not just follow. Lead. The word makes my chest tighten with hope. She makes an offer. Creative strategist, more freedom, slightly less pay initially but with real growth potential. I accept before I can overthink it. The next morning, I walk into Pearson Associates with my head higher than it's been in months. Daniel notices immediately. You seem chipper today, Carter, he says, suspicion in his eyes. Just smile. Just a good day, I guess. He doesn't know yet. But he will. 2 weeks after accepting the Morgan & Wills offer, something strange happens. Daniel starts being nice to me. He stops by my desk with coffee. Thought you could use this, he says, grinning like we're old friends. He invites me to sit in on client calls, asks for my input in meetings, even offers to mentor me for an upcoming pitch with a major client. Lena is suspicious when I tell her. He's setting a trap, she warns. Maybe, I say. But I need access to those project files before I leave. If I can document everything properly, Morgan & Wills can use it as proof of my experience. So I play along. I smile, nod, take notes during Daniel's mentorship sessions. He eats it up, thinking he's finally broken me into the perfect, obedient assistant. But every night I'm copying files, organizing my portfolio, building evidence of my contributions. He thinks I'm walking into his trap. He has no idea he's walking into mine. One afternoon, Daniel leans against my desk, grinning. You know, Emily, I always knew you had potential. You just needed the right guidance. Force a smile. Thank you, Daniel. I've learned so much from you. The lie tastes bitter but necessary. The big client pitch is scheduled for Monday morning. It's with Hartman Industries, a tech company looking to rebrand their image. Daniel has been hyping this for weeks. Landing them could mean a 7-figure contract. I spend the entire weekend perfecting the pitch deck. New logo concepts, social media strategy, launch timeline, everything. I email it to Daniel Sunday night as requested. Monday morning I arrive early, ready to support the presentation. But when I walk into the conference room, something feels wrong. Daniel is already presenting. My pitch deck glows on the screen behind him, except my name is gone. The design has been tweaked slightly, just enough to look different. He's speaking with confidence, gesturing to slides I created, claiming ideas I developed. The Hartman executives nod, impressed. This is exactly what we need, one says. I stand in the back of the room, invisible. My stomach churns. I knew he'd done this before, but doing it right in front of me, after pretending to mentor me, feels like a knife between my ribs. After the meeting, the client shakes Daniel's hand. Brilliant work, Mr. Pierce. Daniel beams. Just doing what I do best. That night I check the shared project folder. My name has been deleted from every file. I sit in my apartment, staring at my laptop screen, tears blurring my vision. Lena is beside me on the couch, her arm around my shoulders. I'm done, I whisper. I can't do this anymore. Then don't, Lena says firmly. But don't leave broken, Em. Leave unforgettable. I wipe my eyes, inhaling shakily. She's right. If I quit now, Daniel wins. He gets to keep stealing, keep climbing, keep crushing people like me. But if I leave on my terms, with proof, with a new job waiting, that's different. I open my email and start typing my resignation letter. 2 weeks notice, professional and polite. No accusations, no drama. Just a clean exit. Before I hit send, I schedule one final meeting with HR for next Monday. Daniel will be there to sign my release papers. I'll walk out with my head high, my flash drive safely in my purse, and my future waiting. I read the email one last time, then press send. Lena squeezes my hand. Proud of you. I nod, a small smile breaking through. He'll regret this. Just not today. Tonight I let myself cry. Tomorrow I start building the dream he said I'd never reach. Monday morning arrives. I'm wearing my best outfit. A navy blazer and crisp white blouse. I feel like I'm dressing for battle, and in a way I am. The HR office is small and sterile. Daniel sits across from me, looking bored as the HR manager, Janet, walks through the exit paperwork. He signs documents without reading them, clearly eager to be done with this. Any final questions, Emily? Janet asks kindly. No. Thank you for everything. Daniel leans back, smirking. Good luck out there, Carter. Honestly, you'll probably be back in 6 months when the dream fails. It's tough without a safety net. I meet his eyes, my expression calm. I don't chase dreams anymore, Daniel. I build them. His smirk falters just for a second. I stand, shake Janet's hand, and walk toward the door. As I pass Daniel, I pause. Oh, and Daniel, thank you. You taught me exactly what kind of leader I never want to be. I leave before he can respond. Outside, the Chicago air feels crisper, cleaner. I pull my flash drive from my purse and grip it tightly. Everything I need is here. Proof of my work, documentation of my ideas, evidence if I ever need it. I walk toward the train station, toward my future. Morgan & Wills is everything Pierce & Associates wasn't. The office is bright and open, with plants and natural light. People smile when they talk to you. Ideas are discussed, not stolen. Sarah Mitchell greets me on my first day. Welcome to the team, Emily. We're excited to have you. I'm given a desk near the window, a company laptop, and, most importantly, creative freedom. My first project is a campaign for a local nonprofit. It's small, but it's mine. I pour everything into it. Late nights, early mornings, constant revisions. When we launch, the response is immediate. The campaign goes viral, shared thousands of times, featured in local news, praised for its authenticity. Within 3 months, Morgan & Wills gains 4 new clients. 2 of them specifically mention my campaign as the reason they chose our firm. 6 months in, I'm promoted to creative director. Around this time, I hear through industry gossip that Pierce & Associates lost a major contract. The client cited lack of innovation and poor execution. Check the news online. The company that won the contract instead. Morgan & Wills. The campaign they loved. My name is right there in the press release. Led by creative director Emily Carter. Daniel sees the article. I know because Lena sends me a screenshot of his LinkedIn post, clearly meant to downplay my success. Congrats to my former assistant on her new role. Always knew she had potential with the right guidance. I laugh out loud reading it. The comments beneath are interesting. Several people from Pierce & Associates subtly calling him out. Didn't she do most of the Hartman pitch? Funny how her potential only showed after she left your firm. Daniel deletes the post an hour later. But the damage is done. Whispers start spreading in the Chicago marketing scene. I don't feed the fire. I don't need to. The truth has a way of surfacing on its own. Late one night, I get an email from a former Pierce & Associates client. The subject line reads, "Switching to Morgan & Wills." The email explains that they were unhappy with Daniel's recent work. Missed deadlines, recycled ideas, lack of communication. They want fresh energy. They want me. It's a multi-million-dollar account. I forward the email to Sarah, barely able to contain my excitement. She replies within minutes. This is huge. Well done, Emily. You've earned this. The next morning, Daniel's company loses the client officially. I see the panic in his frantic LinkedIn activity, reaching out to connections, scrambling to save face. 3 months later, Morgan & Wills wins a government rebranding contract, a project Daniel's firm desperately needed to stay afloat. It's worth over $2 million and will put us on the map nationally. I'm named lead creative director for the project. The day the announcement goes public, my phone buzzes constantly. Congratulations pour in from colleagues, old professors, even people I barely know. But the message that stands out is from an unknown number. Saw the news. Impressive. DP. Daniel. I stare at the text for a long moment, then delete it without responding. He doesn't get access to this moment. This victory is mine alone. That evening, Sarah takes the team out to celebrate. We go to a rooftop bar with a view of the city skyline. As I stand there, glass of champagne in hand, I think about the girl who sat in that conference room 6 months ago, humiliated and powerless. She would be so proud of who I've become. Lena raises her glass. To Emily, who never stopped believing, even when someone tried to convince her she wasn't enough. To Emily, the team echoes. I smile, tears prickling my eyes. For the first time in years I feel seen. The annual Chicago Business Gala is the event of the season, a networking night where the city's top firms gather to impress investors and each other. Morgan & Wills received an invitation, and Sarah insists I attend. You're the face of our success now, she says. Own it. I buy a dress I'd never normally afford. Elegant, black, confidence in fabric form. Lena does my makeup, curling my hair into soft waves. When I walk into the venue, I feel like a different person. Not because of the dress, but because of everything I've survived to get here. The ballroom is stunning. Chandeliers, live music, tables draped in white linen. I'm seated at the VIP table with Sarah and our senior partners. That's when I see him. Daniel Pierce stands near the bar, clearly networking. His suit is expensive, but he looks smaller somehow. Desperate. I watch as he approaches investors, shaking hands a little too enthusiastically, laughing a little too loud. Then he sees me. He freezes mid-conversation, his drink halfway to his mouth. Our eyes lock across the room. I don't look away. He excuses himself and walks over, his expression caught between shock and something like awe. Emily. I didn't recognize you, he stammers. I smile politely. Hello, Daniel. Daniel shifts awkwardly, glancing at my VIP table. So, you're doing well. I heard about the government contract. That's impressive. Thank you. He forces a laugh. You know, I always knew you had it in you. Look, maybe we should talk about collaborating again. 2 successful firms working together. It could be big. I take a sip of my champagne, letting his words hang in the air. You've really grown, he adds, trying to sound genuine. I set my glass down and meet his eyes. Oh, I didn't grow, Daniel. I just stopped shrinking. His smile falters. He opens his mouth to respond, but I'm already turning away. Enjoy your evening, I say over my shoulder. As I walk back to my table, I feel lighter. That small moment, standing my ground, refusing to play his game, feels like closing a chapter one didn't realize was still open. What Daniel doesn't know is that I'm not just a creative director anymore. Last week, Sarah offered me a seat on Morgan & Wills' advisory board. Accepted. And next month, the board is reviewing a proposal to acquire a struggling marketing firm. Pierce & Associates is at the top of the list. The acquisition proposal sits on my desk, a thick folder stamped confidential. Sarah walks me through it in her office, her tone professional but excited. Pierce & Associates is drowning, she explains. They've lost major clients, their reputation is tanking, and their financials are a mess. But they have a solid client list we could absorb. It's a smart move for us. I flip through the pages, seeing Daniel's company dissected into numbers and projections. My name appears multiple times as the proposed transition lead. You'd oversee the integration, Sarah says. I know it's complicated given your history, but you're the best person for this. I close the folder, my heart pounding. I'll do it. That evening the board votes. The acquisition is approved unanimously. News spreads quickly. By the next morning, industry blogs are reporting. Morgan & Wills acquires Pierce & Associates in strategic move. I'm sitting at my desk when my phone buzzes. Another text from Daniel. We need to talk. This can't be happening. I don't respond. An hour later, I hear he's called an emergency meeting with his remaining staff. According to someone who still works there, he's furious. She can't buy us, he reportedly yells. She used to fetch my coffee. I smile at the irony. The girl who scheduled his meetings now holds his company's future in her hands. The weeks following the acquisition announcement are chaos. For Daniel, not for me. Internal issues at Pierce & Associates start leaking to the press. Angry former employees share stories of stolen ideas, unpaid overtime, toxic management. Someone anonymously submits documents showing a pattern of credit theft. Campaign concepts with employee names scratched out, replaced with Daniel's. I don't leak anything. I don't need to. The truth finds its way out on its own. Daniel's remaining team begins to fracture. 3 senior staff members resign in 1 week. Clients pull contracts early, unwilling to wait for the transition. The company that once seemed untouchable is crumbling from the inside. Sarah calls me into her office. The board wants to accelerate the acquisition timeline. Pierce & Associates won't survive another quarter at this rate. What does that mean for Daniel? Yes. The board is demanding a leadership review. They're questioning everything. His judgment, his ethics, his results. He's being called in for an emergency meeting tomorrow. I nod slowly, processing. Part of me feels vindicated. Another part feels something close to pity. That night, Lena asks if I'm okay. I don't know, I admit. I wanted him to see my worth. But watching his world fall apart. It's complicated. You didn't destroy him, Em, she says gently. He did this to himself. The audit happens faster than anyone expects. As part of the acquisition due diligence, Morgan & Wills hires an independent firm to review Pierce & Associates' past projects. What they find is damning. Dozens of campaigns attributed to Daniel contain fingerprints of other people's work. File metadata showing original creators, email trails proving idea theft, inconsistent design styles that clearly came from multiple sources. My flash drive becomes key evidence. I'd saved everything, original drafts with timestamps, emails where Daniel requested adjustments that erased my name, project files showing the evolution of ideas from my desk to his presentations. I didn't submit it vindicatively. The auditors requested documentation, and I provided what I had. Professional, clean, factual. But the impact is devastating for Daniel. His mentorship emails, the ones where he praised my work privately while taking credit publicly, are now corporate evidence of systematic fraud. The lead auditor calls me personally. Ms. Carter, your documentation is extremely thorough. This paints a clear picture of workplace misconduct. I thank her quietly, my hands shaking as I hang up. The report goes to the board, then to legal, then somehow to the press. Within days, trade publications are running headlines. Marketing executive under fire for stealing employee work. The article spreads like wildfire. By Wednesday morning, Daniel Pierce is trending on LinkedIn, for all the wrong reasons. The piece details years of idea theft, names multiple victims, I'm not the only one, and includes damning quotes from former employees. One sentence hits particularly hard. Daniel Pierce built his reputation on the uncredited labor of those he considered beneath him. Investors pull out. Clients flee to competitors. His professional reputation, built over 15 years, collapses overnight. Pierce & Associates stock value plummets. The board issues a statement. We take these allegations seriously and are conducting a full internal review. But everyone knows what that means. Daniel is finished. 2 days later, Morgan & Wills finalizes the acquisition. Pierce & Associates is now officially our subsidiary. Sarah assigns me to lead the transition team. My first task: walking into my old office as the new boss. I spend the night before unable to sleep, rehearsing what I'll say, how I'll carry myself. I want to be professional, not petty. Strong, not cruel. When I finally drift off, I dream of that conference room, the one where Daniel humiliated me. Except this time I'm standing at the head of the table. And everyone is listening. The morning of my first day leading the transition, I walk into Pierce & Associates at 8 a.m. The office feels different. Quieter, tense. People glance up as I pass, their expressions a mix of shock and curiosity. I'm escorted to the main conference room, where the remaining staff waits. 20 faces stare at me, some familiar, some new. I recognize a few who laughed during that meeting 6 months ago. I stand at the front, setting my folder on the table. Good morning. I'm Emily Carter, and I'll be overseeing this transition. I know this is uncomfortable for many of you, but I want to be clear. This isn't about revenge. It's about building something better. Few people nod. Others look skeptical. Continue. We're here to evaluate talent, preserve jobs where possible, and integrate teams effectively. If you've been doing good work, you have nothing to worry about. As I speak, the door opens. Daniel walks in late, his tie slightly crooked, exhaustion written across his face. He stops when he sees me standing at the head of the table, at his old spot. Eyes meet. For a moment, neither of us moves. Then I gesture to an empty chair. Please take a seat. We're just getting started. He sits slowly, his hands trembling slightly. The power shift is palpable. Everyone in the room feels it. After the meeting, Daniel approaches me in the hallway. His confidence is gone, replaced by something raw and desperate. Emily, can we talk? Privately. I glance at my watch. I have 5 minutes. We step into an empty office. He closes the door, running a hand through his hair. Look, I know I messed up. I was wrong about a lot of things. I didn't think you'd actually make it. I didn't think someone like you could. Someone like me. I interrupt, my voice calm but firm. He stumbles over his words. I mean, you were quiet. You didn't fight back. I thought. He stops, realizing how terrible it sounds. Take a breath. That's the thing, Daniel. You never thought I was capable. You saw me as small, as less than. And I spent so long trying to prove you wrong that I forgot the truth. I never needed your approval. I just needed to stop waiting for you to see it. He looks at the floor. What happens now? To me. That's up to the board, I say honestly. But they're offering you a choice. Resign quietly with a severance package, or be terminated publicly. I take the first option. His jaw tightens. And if I don't? Then the full audit report goes public. Every detail, every name, every stolen idea. I hold his gaze. Your choice, Daniel. He nods slowly, defeated. I'll resign. 3 days later, Daniel Pierce's resignation is announced. The press release is brief and corporate. Daniel Pierce is stepping down to pursue other opportunities. We wish him well. But everyone knows the truth. I'm in my new office, the one that used to be his, when Sarah brings me the signed documents. He's officially gone, she says. How do you feel? Think about it. Relieved. And a little sad. She nods, understanding. You're allowed to feel both. That afternoon, I'm organizing my desk when I find something tucked in a drawer. A framed photo of Daniel at some award ceremony, grinning beside a trophy. I stare at it for a moment, then place it face down in a box for recycling. As I settle into the chair, I notice the view from the window, the same city skyline I used to glimpse from my tiny assistant desk across the office. It looks different from here. Bigger. More possible. My phone buzzes. A message from Lena. Proud of you. Let's celebrate tonight. Smile. Absolutely. I'm buying. For the first time I can. Later, as I leave the building, a former coworker stops me. Emily, I just wanted to say, what you're doing here, how you're handling everything, it matters. Thank you. I nod, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on my shoulders. This isn't just about me anymore. My first official act as head of the newly integrated team is to hold a company-wide meeting. I address over 60 people, many of whom are nervous about their futures. I know there's uncertainty right now, I begin. But I want to make something clear. We don't crush dreams here. We build them. If you have ideas, share them. If you see problems, raise them. Everyone's voice matters, not just the loudest person in the room. Applause ripples through the space. It's not thunderous, but it's genuine. Over the following weeks, I implement new policies, transparent credit on projects, regular feedback sessions, and an anonymous idea submission system. The culture slowly shifts from fear-based to collaboration-based. People start staying late not because they're forced to, but because they're excited about their work. I see it in their faces, hear it in their conversations. One afternoon, a junior designer named Marcus nervously approaches my office. Ms. Carter, I had an idea for the Thompson account, but I wasn't sure if I should. Come in, I say immediately. Let's hear it. His idea is brilliant. Fresh, unexpected. We implement it and the client loves it. Marcus gets full credit in the presentation. Afterward he thanks me, his voice thick with emotion. I've been here 2 years, and this is the first time someone listened. That moment, more than any award or recognition, feels like victory. 4 months into the transition, something unexpected arrives. An envelope on my desk, my name handwritten on the front. No return address. Inside is a letter. From Daniel. My hands shake slightly as I unfold it. The handwriting is neat but hurried, like he wrote it in one sitting and didn't dare revise. Emily, I've been trying to write this for weeks, but I kept throwing it away. I'm not good at apologies. You know that better than anyone. But I need you to hear this, even if you don't respond. I mocked you because I was afraid. You were talented in ways I never was, and instead of celebrating that, I tried to diminish it. I convinced myself you were just an assistant, because admitting you were brilliant meant admitting I was ordinary. I can't find work now. My name is blacklisted in every firm that matters. I tell myself it's unfair, but I know it's exactly what I deserve. You became the dream I couldn't afford, not just financially but morally. You stayed kind when I was cruel. You built when I stole. You rose while I fell. I don't expect forgiveness. I just wanted you to know. You were never the problem. It was Daniel. I read it twice, then fold it carefully and place it in my desk drawer. My assistant, Jennifer, knocks softly. Everything okay? I nod, though my chest feels tight. Yeah. Just processing something. The letter from Mr. Pierce? She asks gently. I glance up, surprised. How did you know? He shrugs. He dropped it off himself yesterday. Looked like he'd been crying. Asked me to make sure you got it. I sit back in my chair, staring at the drawer. Jennifer waits, sensing I need to talk. Should I respond? Ask quietly. She considers this. Do you want to? I think about Daniel, the man who belittled me, who stole from me, who tried to convince me I was worthless. I think about the hollow shell I saw in the hallway during his resignation. Revenge would be easy. Silence would be justified. But neither feels right. No, I finally say. I don't need to respond. But I can do something better. That afternoon, I make a call to a nonprofit I've been supporting, an organization that provides career coaching and scholarships for people re-entering the workforce after setbacks. I make a significant donation, enough to fund 5 full scholarships. I'd like this to be anonymous, I tell them. But name it the Pierce Fund. When they ask why, I pause. Because everyone deserves a second chance. Even people who didn't give others first chances. It's not forgiveness. It's grace. And somehow that feels more powerful than any revenge could ever be. A year later, I'm standing backstage at the Chicago Business Summit, smoothing down my dress. My name is displayed on a screen above the stage. Emily Carter, Entrepreneur of the Year. Lena squeezes my hand. You ready? I nod, though my heart is racing. The auditorium holds over 1,000 people. Industry leaders, journalists, aspiring entrepreneurs. This moment feels surreal, like I'm watching my life from outside my body. The announcer's voice booms. Please welcome Emily Carter. I walk onto the stage, the applause building like a wave. The lights are bright, but I can make out faces in the audience. I see Sarah, my team from Morgan & Wills, former professors, even my mom, who flew in from Indiana. And in the back row, half hidden, I see him. Daniel. He's clapping quietly, his expression unreadable. Humbled, maybe even proud in a complicated way. I step to the microphone, taking a breath to steady myself. Thank you, I begin. A year ago, I sat in a conference room while someone told me I wasn't built for dreams. He said people like me burn out before we rise. For a while, I believed him. Pause, scanning the crowd. But here's what I learned. Dreams don't need permission. They need persistence. If someone mocks your dreams, don't waste energy fighting them. Just become the dream they could never afford. The audience erupts. Standing ovation. Cameras flashing. As I stand there, soaking it in, I think about the girl who used to schedule meetings and fetch coffee. She'd be so proud. Not because I won, but because I never stopped believing I could.